Today we are learning to multiply using the grid method. So here's our steps to success. Step 1, I can draw a grid. Step 2, I can partition a 2-digit number into tens and units along the top of the grid. Step 3, I can write the number I am multiplying by on the left. Step 4, I can multiply the tens and the units. Step 5, I can add the tens and units together. And finally, step 6, I can record my answer. Now if we follow these steps to success, we should be able to say that we can multiply using the grid method. Okay, so step 1, I can draw a grid. Alright, now this is a nice simple step, and as you can see, all I'm doing is drawing a grid, or what we might call a hashtag. And very simply, we're putting an X in the top left corner, and that's just to remind us that we're multiplying two different numbers. Step 2. Okay, I can partition a 2-digit number into tens and into units. Now this is also nice and simple, so we'll take the number 24 and we'll partition that into 2 tens like this, and into 4 units like this. Alright, and this is what it should look like when you partition the 2-digit number. On to the next step. Step 3. I can write the number I am multiplying by in the grid. Okay, so the number we are multiplying here is 2, which means we need to write it on the left hand side of the grid. So whatever number you're multiplying by, it should go on the left part of the grid. Step number 4. I can multiply the tens and the units. Alright, so listen up, ladies and gentlemen, aliens and robots. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. So the first thing we have to do is to multiply the 4 by the 2. So what is 4 times 2? Well, we should all know 4 times 2 is 8. Alright, so once we've multiplied the units, we then have to multiply the tens. So here we can see that we have got 2 tens, or 20, and we're multiplying it by 2. So how exactly do we do that? Well, first of all we need to do is take your thumb and you cover up the 0. Okay, now imagine you are doing 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 gives us 4. Now, because we write 4 into our grid like this, we have to remember this is the tens. So we actually have to multiply 4 by 10, which gives us 40. How do we remember to do this? Well, remember, this part of our grid method is called the tens. Okay? Now, if you're not sure how to do this part, rewind this part of the video and watch it again. So, step number 5. Okay, we're almost there now, people. What we need to do for this step, okay, is we need to take the tens and the units and combine them back together. So we're going to have to add them together. So here we've got 40 and we've got 8. And we're simply going to add them back together. Now you can use a number line to help you to do this. You can use a column method if you want, like we're going to do here. And all we're going to do is do 40 add 8, which gives us the number 48. Step number 6. I can record my answer. Now that we've got the answer 48, we have to make sure the last thing we do is put 48 into the answer space. Okay, so 24 times 2, we make sure it is 48. Voila! And that's it. You've done it. That is how you solve multiplication problem using grid method. Oh yeah, you can do a little dance. Right, now that you've managed to solve it, and if you think you don't need to watch this video again, what we'd like you to do is have a go with the blue activity. So, how do we do the blue activity? Well, what we'd like you to do is go to one of the tables, find the QR code that you need to watch, and have a go with the blue activity to show us that you've understood what you've watched. Okay? Now, don't feel like you're going to get stuck. If you do, come back and watch the video. Okay? And I'm sure if you're doing the activity and you feel stuck, remember to use your green and red cards. If you put up red, that means Miss Fenton or myself knows that you're a bit stuck and will come and give you a hand. Alright? Good luck. The first thing you're going to need is one of these target boards. And on your whiteboard, you need to write number 1 and choose any number from your target board. So for instance, you might choose the number 16. Once you've chosen that number, write it onto your whiteboard. Now that you've chosen a number from your target board, you need one of our foam dice and you need to give it a really good roll. And whatever number your dice lands on is the number that you need to times by. So make sure you roll this dice. So here you can see that I've written on my whiteboard number 1, and I've written the number I chose from the target board, which was 16, and here I've got times 2, which is what I rolled on my dice. So I'm going to work out what 16 times 2 is using the grid method on my whiteboard. So we have to remember to use grid method. Okay. And you just simply work it out on your whiteboard like this. Okay, and then when you think you've got the right answer, do another one. So I would like you to have a go doing at least 5 different questions. And when you think you've got all 5 correct, pass it to a partner and let them check your learning. And remember, anything that you feel like you've done correctly, seesaw it, and we'll have a look. Good luck!